Yeah, thank you, Lisa, for this kind introduction, and also thanks to the organizers for having me here. I think it's a very relevant and inspiring conference. I'm really glad that I came and that I met all of you. So it's now my pleasure to introduce the Norwegian Precision Cancer Medicine initiatives and specifically connect to you. So let me take you back to the year 2019, just pre-pandemic. So we really then had the broad insight in the Norwegian oncology milieu that Norway was really lagging behind with respect to implementation of precision cancer treatment. Patients had very limited access to any molecular diagnostics. Some really went abroad for that. And targeted treatment in trials and regular care was also available only to a very limited extent. And it's a public healthcare system, and it's difficult to accept that patients start to go abroad. So that was then a broad call for action from pathologists, researchers, oncologists, and also the industry here at a conference in 2019 in January. So based on that realization and really the need to act, a larger group of stakeholders then set out with 3 aims for 2019. The first was to establish equal nationwide access to advanced molecular diagnostics to stratify cancer patients into clinical trials. Secondly, to increase the volume of trials with a precision cancer medicine approach and to gain experience and learn from these trials to then also be able to work towards the implementation of precision treatment into standard of care. So these aims were very much in line also with the political ambitions. So the Minister of Health has explicitly asked for initiatives that can accelerate the implementation of precision medicine, both in research, but also in standard of care. So then there were different goals that were really shared by the various stakeholders, as you see here. And I mean, these topics were also brought up during this conference here. So many common goals, different needs and experiences, of course, but then how the work proceeded in 2019 and 2020 was to really sign up the milieu for nationwide bottom-up initiatives with defined common priorities. Second, to really align with these top-down approaches from the ministry and also the regional healthcare systems that are the payers and also responsible for the care. And thirdly, then also explore the possibility of a public-private partnership, something also newer in the healthcare sector in Norway, and also importantly coordinate with other precision cancer medicine initiatives internationally. So this work resulted then in the structure that we have today, and maybe we had the advantage to start jointly with a common effort in 2019 to really have a parallel and strategic development of national and interconnected initiatives with a close public-private dialogue and a somewhat shared mindset. So as of today, we have a nationwide diagnostic infrastructure for precision cancer diagnostics, a TSO 500 gene panel, population-based access allows to stratify patients into precision trials, and a national tumor board is then discussing these cases and assigning patients to trials or back to care. This is publicly funded and the testing is reimbursed. It's called INPRED. Then we have a nationwide precision cancer medicine trial called IMPRESS Norway. You realize that we are really good in acronyms as well. So this is an investigator-initiated trial, open for inclusion in the second quarter of 2021. It's running at all hospitals in Norway treating cancer patients. So I think 18 hospitals are collaborating here in that trial. And it's modeled on and also coordinated with the Dutch DROP trial, a combined umbrella basket trial, and also aligned with similar trials in the Nordic countries. So it's really part of a larger precision cancer trial network. And then we have the INSIGHT project, which deals with all these important issues around real-world evidence, health economics, reimbursement models, ethical and legal aspects. And all this is complemented then by CONNECT, which is the focus of my talk today. So this is just another view to show you these public-funded initiatives that I mentioned, the diagnostics infrastructure, the clinical trial, the work on policies and regulations, but then also data handling is, of course, a key aspect, very important for all stakeholders. And we also heard during the conference how important and how challenging that is. So, but then there was a need that was also mentioned by the industry to really have an interface to these initiatives and really interact and work with them in a structured way, because the industry is needed to provide drugs for the trials, but they didn't just want to provide drugs funding and then leave with the publication. So they really wanted to see a systems change. And then also everyone realized we need a forum to include regulators and payers for really discussing policies, reimbursement models, and also the regulatory framework for precision treatment. So, and these needs then were boiled down to a consortium structure that we developed during 2020 especially. So this is what then called Connect as of today. And Connect was setting out with the aim to drive the implementation of precision cancer medicine. In a way, it's a facilitator. And the specific goals were really to address the key obstacles, but also dare to pilot novel solutions to transform the current practice. It shall be an arena for all stakeholders for a balanced and informed approach and debate. Connect should drive cross-functional and cross-organizational initiatives, workshops, and educational formats, and very importantly also create a joint culture of innovation, partnership, and impact that is not always typical to have between so different stakeholders. And we also created a consortium agreement that had to be signed by all partners. That is more as a project agreement with a project plan. And then we did the book building period in the autumn of 2020. I mean, remember, that was all under pandemic conditions. We worked mostly digitally. And then the book building really resulted in 22 partners signing the consortium agreement in December 2020. And these partners include, on the one hand side, all Norwegian university hospitals, 18 industry partners, mostly pharma companies, but also, and then also on the patient side, the Norwegian Cancer Society is a very powerful patient organization. And then the other public parts, we call it public-private. The other public part are the health authorities. It's the Norwegian Medicines Agency, the Norwegian Institute of Public Health, the Norwegian Directorate for Health, and the Norwegian Directorate of E-Health. And the entire consortium is coordinated by us at the Oslo Cancer Cluster, a non-for-profit member organization, and being also seen as a trusted and neutral actor in that field, bringing everyone together. So that is then brought into action via different working groups, because you can have these hairy goals, but you really have to start working and see where you get traction and where people really have a common interest. We defined 4 working groups or work packages that interface the different public initiatives and areas. And these working groups gather experts from all different stakeholders. You then have the clinicians discussing with the industry people and with also representatives from the health authorities. And these working groups are all co-led. So in Connect, we always have co-leading structures. Also in the steering committee, always one person from the public side, one person from the private side. And they learn a good deal from being in these joint leadership roles here. During these regular meetings, of course, you get to know each other, you develop trust, and also the working groups then have to define and implement activities of common interest and with broader involvement from all stakeholders. So we have defined the high-level objectives for these working groups, and we also have defined some activities they should deliver on during the course of a 2-year project. Typically, it's really at the interface to these public work packages. For example, at the interface to diagnostics, it's really to look ahead, do some horizon scanning, also see beyond just genomic testing to implement precision medicine. For precision medicine trials, it's also bringing new and more drugs into the IMPRESS trial, but also to look at the framework conditions for clinical trials. Very important also to have this HTA and reimbursement discussions, which are much needed and also which require novel and different solutions, and then also to look into the data side of things of interest for all these initiatives and also for secondary access and all the topics we learned here today. But of course, what the working groups then also did in terms of activities is somewhat agile, also based on the working group composition, dialogue with the steering committee, and the involvement of the public initiatives. I would like to highlight some of the outcomes and deliverables. So in Connect, we are really connecting people and expertise. Overall, in the steering committee and working groups, we have more than 70 people from the milieu working together on a regular basis. We have monthly working group meetings, and these are really well attended, so people really take time for these meetings. We have bi-monthly steering committee meetings and an industry subgroup and a public subgroup. And in the period of 2021-2022, we deliver about 25 educational seminars and workshops, always with national and always with multi-stakeholder engagement. Some of these are closed meetings, but some are also open. And we record all these meetings, and you can visit the Connect website and also watch some of these recordings. So I'm sure some of the topics are also of broader interest for the community here. And then I mentioned already, and I think yesterday we also had an excellent session about that. I mean, we need to have different financing and reimbursement models that are tailored to the specific needs and challenges of precision treatment based on a lot of uncertainty, very low patient numbers, and very limited data. So it's really important to exploit some new payment models. And as a result of the work in the IMPRESS clinical trial and what we do in Connect and the broader dialogue that we had, a first pay for performance model was introduced for the very first expansion cohort in IMPRESS Norway, where basically the Dutch drug trial has shown a very positive impact of a treatment on Dutch patients. And then the Norwegian authorities were willing to open an expansion cohort in Norway based on these data, and then also to agree to a risk-sharing model where then the pharma company pays for the first 16 weeks and afterwards the public healthcare system is taking over. So I think this trial and setup really allows us to learn, pilot, evaluate, and really have a learning system for developing financing models. Just have one sip of water, 1 second. And then what was, of course, very rewarding for everyone in the milieu, this coordinated and strategic national effort was also internationally recognized, was presented at different conferences during this year, and we also had this very nice Nature correspondence publication that was published in May 2022. And the third page is mainly all the people contributing and all their affiliations, so people from more than 80 organizations. And I think there was a motivation per se for the milieu, and also really making everyone proud to be of something really larger and something significant that we have set up here. So, and then my second last slide. I think we cannot underestimate the culture and the culture change that is really needed to have this kind of collaboration across so many stakeholders with also sometimes conflicting needs and interests. So I really, really like this quote here from Lars Petter Strand. He was very involved in this small group when we developed the concept for Connect, and he's still a very active steering committee member. So a culture for public-private collaboration is not created through strategic plans, political ambitions, or celebratory speeches, but really through actions and behaviors that set a new standard. And I think this is what we are, or many of us in Connect are trying to do every single day. And I think based on what people say in the milieu, we really are on a very good way there, and we really have a very different culture to interact among these stakeholders. So much less hostile, much less from silos, but it's still a long way, of course, and there's always room to improve and do better. So let me then finalize with some of the achievements, effects, and learnings that we have so far. So Connect really established a new model for public-private collaboration within a public healthcare system. This formal partnership with the agreement and the framework really allowed for a broad interaction and dialogue and collaboration that otherwise, without such a framework that gave trust, wouldn't have been possible. Everyone involved really increased the expertise in and the understanding of precision cancer medicine and of the different stakeholder needs and expertise. We really changed the culture towards more trust, respect, and partnership among the organizations. Everyone understands health economy, and the road to reimbursement is a necessary aspect, challenging, not solved, but addressed in a different way than before. there are, of course, very different needs, policies, positions at multiple levels, so it's not always easy to navigate. And also beyond this first 2 years now, where everyone was really enthusiastic, it's in-kind contribution from many partners, it's very important to secure a continuous ownership, engagement and impact. So I think it's a bit also like an IC permit consortium. You require people to really work in kind. You create something, you get visibility, but it's really important to ensure that we have joint goals that are relevant for all partners and that also everyone sees opportunities in such a collaboration. The increased international recognition of the Norwegian efforts was nice and rewarding for all of us. However, it's also a very important tool then to enter new collaborations and partnerships. We already collaborate with other initiatives, but I think there is so much more to learn and so much expertise we don't have in Norway. So that's, of course, also important for the way forward to collaborate more, and this is also why I'm here. So thank you, and happy to take questions, if you like.
So thank you, Jutta, for a beautiful example of a national level public-private partnership in a small country, which you mentioned. Norway is a small country, but geographically not small.
I think also sometimes in a small country, right?
Population-wise, a small one, but otherwise, in many other respects, a big country. Are there any immediate questions or comments from the audience? Then may I ask you one thing? I already mentioned that Norway is geographically the distance from north and south is quite wide, more than 1,000 kilometers, I guess. On the other hand, your example is from the field of cancer. And now, equity in cancer care is one of the strongest incentives for personalized medicine, I think. Yeah. So, but on the other hand, since your country is geographically so wide and it's the medical institutions, they tend to be in Oslo and around Oslo. There are also, of course, exceptions, but the majority is in Oslo. What did it take of you to bring all the regional healthcare organizers together from the northernmost part, central Norway, to the south? How did you manage to do it?
So here I really have to give credit also to the very ambitious team at the Oslo University Hospital and the Southeastern Health Authority. So Norway is divided in 4 health regions. And then the Southeastern Health Region had the mandate also for implementing the diagnostics infrastructure and had certain mandates for implementation. And then they were really met by a team at Oslo University Hospital that managed to create a joint vision for all university hospitals. And then all other health regions were onboarded. And then they had a very crucial meeting. I think they had 2 very crucial meetings where then also representatives from the health regions were there as payers and caregivers. And then this joint vision of having this national trial and this national effort was presented, and everyone was really onboarded. But of course, that was supported by different one-to-one talks. But I think that was a very crucial aspect. And I mean, to be honest, what we also see today, also in Connect and also in Pred, I mean, we have nodes where the diagnostics is performed, and this is gradually expanded to more university hospitals. But it's also that maybe some university hospitals get more visibility, and that can also create some tensions in these initiatives. So it's very important to take care that everyone also feels it's a fair share of, the reward. And I mean, for patients, it is in any case. I think a first great story resulted from a university hospital in Tromsø, where they treated a glioblastoma patient that's so far healthy now.
Yeah, that's my also personal experience from Finland when we put together the Comprehensive Cancer Center Finland. Yeah. It needs that somebody who gives something to that consortium also can shine, and burden sharing, task sharing is something which rewards you in that respect. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.